Today we're going to be coming out of the book of Deuteronomy. We're going to talk about a law and the spiritual principle of what a law really meant. You see, in the Bible it says our people perish for lack of knowledge. We have to understand what these laws were for and what they were pointing to. Deuteronomy chapter 22 verses 10 tells the Israelites, do not plow with an ox and a donkey. You see, I don't think the Lord is really concerned about what two animals get put in a garden together. But you see, the ox was a clean animal. The donkey was an unclean animal. What good does a clean and an unclean thing have to do with each other? If you turn to 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verses 14, it says, do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? Or what fellowship can light have with darkness? You see, that's what that law was pointing to. He does not want something clean and unclean, a Christian and a non-Christian, in a marriage or in any kind of relationship. Let me tell you about a donkey. A donkey, as I studied it today, a donkey has so many health issues, parasites in them, but most of all, they have respiratory issues, and they can't go for very long. You see, and they're not near as strong as a donkey is. Just like an unchristian, a non-believer, somebody weak in their faith is not strong like a Christian is. You see, if they yoke a donkey and an ox together, when they begin to plow, eventually, them health issues, that lack of strength is going to end up pulling on that ox. And eventually, it's going to affect the whole body of the ox, because the way it's having to pull all that weight pulling back on him, you can never have the speed, the endurance, or get out of what you need out of that ox, because you always have the unclean thing. Just like some of you in your life, you have somebody, you're trying to be in a relationship with an unbeliever thinking that you can save them. You're always going to have something pulling you back in the way that you want to go. So that is a spiritual principle together. I don't think God is concerned about two different kind of animals in a garden. You see, some type of movement, observers, Torah, they might tell you you're going to hell if you're lawless, if you stick two animals in your garden. You see, but that's never what it was meant to do. It was always pointing you to something spiritual revelation. We are not to be unequally yoked, a Christian and a non-Christian together, my friends. See, because eventually it's going to start wearing down on you. And you're having to pull all that weight when you need to focus, and you're never going to get the results that you need. It's way easier for you to pull somebody down than you are to pull them up. You have to focus. You are a clean thing. He doesn't want you yoked to something unclean, because your focus will never be the same, and you'll never get to the destination. It will begin to wear you out. So that is a law in the Bible, but this is why I say they were all pointing to something new. Do not be unequally yoked. Do not be that ox yoked with that donkey, or he'll pull you away. Have a good night.